Hi people, welcome to Bouquet Jazz Dance. My acts of achievement, I was a role model for male dancing in Oxford Brookes University where I went. This is a picture of me in Oxford Brookes. How I used to chill out, I used to dance outside my flat. Any place, I used to move over, dance 7 days a week. I never gave it up for nobody. You have people that are silly when you go to a place. You're going to have some stigmatization. Oxford Brookes University, Oxford is renowned for sports. Right, okay. So part of my work, I chose to go to Oxford Brookes University to do a business innovation enterprise, but also try to win an award for, they had this award called Commercialized Enterprise Fellowship. And I wanted to be in the city because their love for dance, actually, their dance art, and sports and academic studies is second to none. And secondly, I was doing it as part of field research about Black and Asian minority groups. What was it like for people, Black and Asian, in the city of Oxford? This was important because I came from the city of Manchester, done research there, done research in Birmingham. I had that knowledge. Research in London, I had extensive contacts, networks and contacts. A place I didn't have is the place where 1 in 5 were a student as an individual, and I'd gone there as an adult, so I went there really as a person with special education needs. I wanted to see how people responded to individuals. Were the reports that identified how special education needs individuals were excluded, made to feel bad, their environment? I wanted to see it for myself, and I did find out for myself as an individual. And it was very disheartening because I went as an adult twice. I've been into higher education, and lucky I'm coming from an adult perspective. And that perspective, I was always free-spirited as a child. My mum told me, even as a child, I was very spirited. I didn't play with people if it was frivolous play, and I had that attitude from a child, though. And so dancing always made me free-spirited because that's what I wanted to do, and I ended up moving with older guys, even in sports. And the older guys were all sports people. I ended up moving with them, learning their training techniques. So I learned mature attitudes towards my learning. Have people got that as an individual? When I went to Oxford Brookes, I was very sad to see what I saw, because what happens is people are not free-spirited. They say universities are making free-spirited. They're not free-spirited. People are children. People can't look after themselves. Twice I've been into higher education. People couldn't even cook. How can you send a child out into the world to live by themselves, cook, can't sort the finances out? People are living in despicable ways, in intolerable ways. They should never be living that way. You wouldn't want to see your child living that way. People had mouldy cutlery and everything. Oh, they lived terribly as an individual. And twice I've been into higher education where I had my own flat. Yeah, that's the thing I always had, because I left Manchester. When I first lived in Manchester, went to Bedford, 89, 91. Bedford came my home because I just finished with my girlfriend, finished with me because I was going to university, yeah, in Bedford. Bedford came my home. And what happened was, 2 times I've been out to study, and it was important for me to have my own home because I'm a dancer. You have to have your own, what is called Blue Lab. You have to have your dance lab. You have to have your own creative hub to develop your stuff at early hours of the morning, etc. It's hard for you to live with other people. I know from having girlfriends that I live with that you had to have your own creative space. The girlfriend I lived with was into my art. She was a dancer. She was a singer. We invested in our success as artists. Do you understand? As an individual. So I had that time getting up early hours in the morning. That was cool because she understood me as an artist. That was important to me when I went to Bedford. And when I went to Bedford, I got a place as an individual. And what happened as an individual when I got to Bedford, I changed people's perception around dance because I was an exceptional sportsman. And because I was an exceptional sportsman, I came from that background anyway, was an individual. I used it to get other males into dance who would normally not dance before. Yeah, because I, as an individual, did lectures on dancing, the history of dancing. 1950, 1960, males were dancing. 1950, using the war, you were guaranteed to be dancing. So with this whole thing about discrimination against dance, is an incredible story how that changed overnight. Because males look for women to dance with. Now they don't. But in the past, males and women would have been dancing in the wars. 2 world wars, they would have been dancing together 24/7. Do you get me? In the 50s, mambo jazz happened. It's just things changed in society. People are not educated in dance. And I went to Bedford College, and Bedford College was not educating people there. Students and Black Dance, because I had the new books that just came out in 1986. I had magazine, I had film footage. They were shocked, and so I created my own extracurriculum course independently for dance teachers. And when I went, there was only 2 males in dance in Bedfordshire when I went there, me and another person. And that other person went there when he was young. He was dead inside, and I said it before. He wasn't a good advertisement for me as a male dancer. I'm not knocking him, but what he wasn't a good advertisement, because what happened, he compromised too much. He went out on too many binges with the sports guys. I was not doing that. People came to me and said, I don't drink. I've got nothing against it. If that's what you want to do with your own leisure, I'm not against it. But what happened was Bedford was a pub town. What I decided to do, I can't live like that. So I travelled to London 24/7 because you already got overnight train. I went to Leicester. I was finding out where dance was, and I was going, and people admired me for that. How do you go by yourself? And well, if that keeps you healthy, because my dance was not about being professional. My social dancing is about health and well-being. You see me here. This is me on the stage. I'm actually taking my actual social dancing to the stage and using it in live improvisational performance. That was the difference with me when I went to Bedford. When I went to Bedford, my social dancing, I made artistic. My social dancing I used to develop people in the educational world, develop people in the community. There's something called dancing community. Dancing community is not about making people dancers. It's about making them appreciate dance. Dance education is there for individuals to shape positive characteristics and personality traits. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I had commercial dancing. For those who wanted to be commercial dancers, I had a little group showing them this is what we're going to do, and etc. Created platforms for individuals, and it's important for people to know this is one of the things I did as a dancer for individuals. And as I said, what happened was when I went to Bedford, it was very important for me as a person, because I did influence people. Because how I did what I need to do as a free-spirited soul. Male dancing is big in my community. Why should I be ashamed of it? And I brought a widest range. I brought dancing to people, dancing that they would like. Because what happens sometimes, what I'm going to talk straight up, sometimes the dances that we used to get dancers into dance was inaccessible. So I'll give you a prime example of me investing in my success. Always from the beginning, I used dances that were accessible to males and movement that was accessible. So you can do contemporary dance, but you can use sports as the vehicle, as the knowledge, the base. And that's what I did, and showed them how to choreograph. So I'll give you a prime example. I went into a very rough area of Liverpool. And what happened, I was asked to teach contemporary dance. When I arrived there, no way contemporary dance could happen. So I had plan B. Plan B, I used hip-hop. And I taught hip-hop in a contemporary way, that's all. What happened, the organisation came to me and were upset with me, said we wanted the children to expand their knowledge in contemporary dance. I said it was not accessible. Dance is supposed to shape their positive characteristics, open their minds. Everything you required of me, I opened their mind. But what happens, a great dance teacher wants the experience. Dance leader knows he has to influence and inspire them to want to continue to dance. If I did contemporary dance, it would embarrass them. When I did hip-hop, it was accessible to them, and I showed them how to take hip-hop and make it contemporary. So I did what you required. What I did, I used my dance expertise in you wanting individuals to take up dance and engage in it from a spontaneous, free-flowing aspect. You want them to engage in it. That's what I did. Now they'll take hip-hop and use it, because I made them all choreographers. Because what I did when I walked in, I gave them leadership roles. I said, you're all going to be choreographers today. They like that. I showed them how to make their own hip-hop video. So basically, Miss Elliott is regarded as the avant-garde woman of hip-hop. I made them avant-garde. That's what I showed them. Look at dance. Look, hip-hop dance has contemporary in it. It's just because your lack of it, you had a vision. You wanted me to do a Graham style. That's one of the styles that happens. You wanted me to do a certain style that's classical, contemporary. It would not have worked. It would just put them under embarrassment. And my work is not to make people feel embarrassed. My work is to make people feel comfortable. My work is to make people to enjoy themselves, not to make them feel bad about who they are. And that's what made them feel bad. They were being self-conscious. And that's one of the key things about being a dance expert. When you invest in your success, you have to be able to justify the work that you do sometimes to get your pay. And people understood what I was saying. And I understood where they were coming from. It's just because they had lack of experience. And that my investment in my success was I created my own projects to deliver the work that should be done in the way that it should be done. Because what happens, due to lack of black and Asian minority groups in industries, our black dance is coming into the world of Western dance from a perspective of sensory, not from a perspective of cultural heritage giving us respect. Like Asian dance is respected. When they come in, it has a level of respect because the level of the way that they're writing on it and the way it's being projected. So the prime example is this. Many individuals forget that all West Indian dances stem from spiritual and social dances in the Caribbean. But when you go to learn calypso, you learn these other dances, the modern dances, have been influenced by spirituality. People do not bring the resources showing the actual heritage dance in context of the heritage perspective to show how the relationship is between the contemporary and the traditional and the folk. I'm the first person that started to do that. I said, how this dance has a relationship. For example, jazz, you have to study what elements of jazz is. It says sevens, over 7 different cultures involved in jazz. And they're evolved. You have to look at the jig. You have to look at clog. You have to look at reel. Which part of the world are they from? They're from the north of England. So how does the north of England, when I'm in London, what happened, I was in Bedford, the north of England was written out of jazz. I said, it's impossible. You're talking, I tried to tell people, right now, you're talking from a nonsensical perspective. How can you teach jazz and you don't talk about the north of England? Jazz is a modern dance. Without the first modern city, there would be no jazz. That's it, full stop. Which is the first modern city? Manchester and the north of England were the first modern cities. And they're the ones that pushed that music and dance, its culture, its lifestyle, the movements, and brought over artists from America to Britain. That's how it got here. It was through the Industrial Revolution wealth that people had in the north. They were bringing all these artists because Manchester regarded themselves as radical, as revolutionary. And London could not keep up with that. They had the wealth to bring in all these new things. They were the new melting pot of new ideas. And so the new melting pot of ideas was dance, it was music, it was leisure, it was entertainment. We created new leisure and entertainment, and we could self-contain it in the north of England because we had the population. We didn't have to rely upon London for what we were doing. And it's important that people understand that. So one of the key things I talk about is that you must be invest in your success by learning about your city and learning about the development of your dance. If you're a street dancer, and if you're not a street dancer, as an individual, if you learn dance, please learn dance properly. Many people study ballet, but don't study the steps, but they don't study the history. Ballet is 5 centuries. Ballet came in 1400s. African dance was way before that. Yoga was way before that. Asian dance was way before that. So where did you think the ballet dancers, ballet masters got movement from? They had to see that dance coming from different cultures that influenced their society at large. 1400s is way, way, way off from 3000 BC, where they show you dancing was happening. So therefore, African diaspora people, Asiatic people influence Western dance on the present scale. Then, and now they do, and still not been acknowledged. To do their sort of things when I meet dancers, invest in your success is investing in learning about, if you're in dance, be in dance. And one teacher I had taught me, if you're going to be good at what you're doing, study it inside out. Try to be the best that you can, and that's what I've always done with UK jazz dance. I always took it a little bit further than individuals. I talked about how I use dance to heal myself. In our culture, we had dance and healing. Western society never came with dance and healing. We had it then and now. So when people ask me, how did you cure yourself? I use dance. If you know knowledge about dance, you know that you can use it to cure yourself. What happened here, I got blood poisoning people, and what happened, it led to my immune system going down. Now the irony, deeper knowledge for you, what happens is dyslexia, I found out at the age of 41, I had special education needs. At the age of 41 going to university, I found I had dyslexia, and I found out that dyslexia takes your immune system down. And what it does, it leads to a number of different illnesses. When I looked on the list, over the 41 years, I had these illnesses, but each of them illnesses I got over through dance. Do you understand? And I prevented the illnesses coming. But when my blood poisoning came, I couldn't really stop it. The immune system was so down. I had so many illnesses. But I came back because what happened, a beautiful thing that took place was, this was me on the return back. And what happened is beautiful. Like I said, as a dancer, I invested in doing what I need to do and inspiring people from the stage, etc. People came to me who were in recovery of cancer, dementia, and a few other things, came to me and said, can I help them, support them in their endeavors to get themselves back into health? Because they had seen me like this over years, I'm talking about, different illnesses I had, and then they saw me in the club and on the stage doing this. Do you got me? And it was a beautiful thing, because that was part of the work I was doing from a long time ago. People come to me and said, look, you'll understand what I've gone through. I'm going through depression, and they just talk to me straight. So what's nice is my dancing, just this dancing here, and the way I am in a club or a life, people find that I'm approachable. And that's what I like about UK jazz dance, because a lot of people in ballet are not approachable. A lot of people in contemporary are not approachable. A lot of people in jazz are not approachable. And what happened, you need to understand, some people in contemporary jazz and ballet are not health, lifestyle focused. UK jazz dance, Blue UK jazz dance is a health lifestyle focus. That's what people started to realize. I identified to that. Some people tried to discount it. No, it isn't. But they realized from watching me going through